Gentlemen, I've changed my mind about Chainsaw Man. What up, weebs? I'm Echidna and my rent's due again, so brace yourselves because this video is not for the faint of heart. The other day, while I was on the toilet pondering life, I discovered a new take I had. Now, a lot of you have probably never heard such a based opinion before, so please remain calm because even Kanye West would be too afraid to say this publicly. I, Echidna, think Chainsaw Man was underhyped. Not only does it deserve every bit of hype it got, but it could potentially be the best anime of the decade. It's probably made it to my personal top 5 as well, and that's better than winning a Nobel Prize and a game of Warzone at the same time. If I had to choose between Makima and the cure for depression, I would be barking all the way to therapy. I'm not a furry, but if Makima ever needs another dog, just slap a leash on me and bust out the peanut butter because I'll turn into a dog faster than Fushi from To Your Eternity. I've heard some criticism from Twitter experts who claim that Makima was only created for losers who like to get stepped on. But on a completely unrelated note, I've decided that I officially identify as a treadmill. If I had unprotected sex with Makima, I would get pregnant. And if she cheated on me, I would apologize. Introducing her to my parents would be like, "Mom, this is Mom." The other day, I asked Makima for a sandwich, so she made me a sub. Makima is also really overpowered, but I'd rather be underpowered. That's right, my favorite waifu in Chainsaw Man
is Power.
Last time I checked, Kanye didn't name a song after Makima. Power is my favorite waifu, and even though she has the absolute worst personality in this anime, I can't help but appreciate how well written she is. No matter what the scenario is, you can always count on Power to be a complete asshole. She's both extremely selfish and extremely stupid, and that's exactly the type of women I like to go for. At first, you might find Power a bit annoying, but once you learn to accept her for who she is, you might find her personality surprisingly lovable. Right now, I think Makima is the fan-favorite waifu of Chainsaw Man, but heed my words. Power will surpass Makima in popularity as the story progresses, and whenever Chapter 71 gets adapted, it'll be pretty clear who Best Girl is. Best Boy is Denji, but Aki is a close second. Aki has been through so much, yet he's still a good, caring person and a badass. He honestly deserves to be Best Boy, so I feel kinda bad for liking Denji slightly more because Denji's basically the polar opposite of Aki. So then what makes Denji such a great character, Echidna? Well, Echidna, Denji is extremely down to earth and his personality flaws are very obvious and consistent. Despite being a selfish prick who doesn't care about anyone except himself and even going as far as using an occupied vehicle as a weapon, the author still manages to make Denji likable. Normally, we would despise a character like that, but for some reason, we love him instead. This is probably because Denji is so honest and shameless about his intentions. It's so easy to feel comfortable around Denji because you know exactly what you can expect from him. This dude only cares about the 3 basic human needs: food, shelter, and milk. Denji is hornier than everyone in my comment section combined, yet he's surprisingly respectful of women's boundaries. Denji doesn't do anything without consent, and he never acts creepy about it either. So even though he isn't a good person, at least you know you can trust him. Also, it's hard not to love someone who is such an idiot that he makes you feel smarter just by watching him. Denji is almost an adult, but he has the mental fortitude of a newborn golden retriever with Alzheimer's. He's just as stupid as Power, and well, alright, I actually did a poll yesterday and you guys had some really good points. Denji is slightly less dumb than Power because Denji is dumb and he knows it, but Power is dumb and she doesn't know it. Power is one of my top waifus, but her intelligence is the one thing I can't defend. Anyway, the music in this anime is absolute fire. Just like Aki's entire family, the opening never gets old. Each episode has a totally different ending to fit whatever the current vibe is, and that honestly really impressed me. The official soundtrack was made by the same composer from A Silent Voice, and he completely nailed it, so I'm really thankful I'm not deaf. Let's not even waste any time talking about the animation or the fight scenes because everybody already knows how good they are. My point is, Chainsaw Man is a true classic. Which reminds me, this video is sponsored by True Classic. True Classic is a men's clothing brand that specializes in making you look better than everyone else. Some of you are still wearing the same clothes you had back when One Piece was on episode 4, so it's time to finally upgrade your wardrobe and start dressing like a human being again. Luckily, True Classic premium tees are specifically designed to accentuate Himeno's favorite thing: the male body. These t-shirts make your arms and shoulders look more muscular than they actually are, and the fit makes you feel like you went to the gym earlier, even though you didn't. It really helps a ton with rebuilding that fleeting sense of confidence I once had. The high-quality fabric is so soft and comfortable, I'm surprised they aren't selling beds instead of clothing. These shirts make you look and feel like a harem protagonist, and they're available for a reasonable price too. Shop True Classic right now with my link in this video's description. Thank you again to True Classic for sponsoring this video. So why did everyone, including me, argue that Chainsaw Man was overhyped? Well, the first episode was easily the worst of the season. It was good, but the following episodes have gotten progressively better every week, and the CGI took a lot of people a few episodes to get used to. Episode 8 is where the season peaked in my opinion. This episode began with a potential W for Denji and ended with an L for about half of the entire cast. I always respect authors who aren't afraid to kill off their own characters, and this episode was the first time we realized there isn't any plot armor in Chainsaw Man. The story went from 0 to over 9,000 in about 15 minutes, and it honestly reminded me of a bad loop from ReZero. Plus, the animation and cinematography were better than ever before, and Makima's death probably shocked everyone who didn't find spoilers on Twitter. The fights were amazing as well. Himeno threw hands with the sword dude, sacrificing her body to protect the person she loves before dying the saddest, most painful death in the series thus far. Just when we were starting to like her, the author didn't even hesitate to take her away from us, and this scene was built up beautifully. Himeno was sacrificing her life in order to defeat the bad guys with an epic attack using her full power, until this girl just randomly summons the biggest devil we've ever seen and completely ruins Himeno's beautiful moment, making her death meaningless.
Heavy. Marunomi. Kaere.
The way the snake just immediately disappears was so eerie, and it reminded me of Pandora from ReZero Season 2. It was honestly one of the scariest things I've seen in anime, and it was definitely the best scene in Chainsaw Man so far. Other than that one episode when Aki spent like 10 minutes doing chores, now that was some high quality, brain-melting ASMR. As a manga reader, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I can promise you guys that Chainsaw Man only gets better, and we've got some more bomb-ass waifus to look forward to. The season isn't over yet, but I can say confidently that Chainsaw Man is anime of the year. At this point, it's probably too obvious that Chainsaw Man is going to make it to the very top of my tier list video next week, but make sure you subscribe anyway so you don't miss that. Yes, next week is the tier list video. I'm finally ready to stop playing Dragonflight and get back to uploading regularly because my wife's boyfriend will beat me up again if I don't pay his child support. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and if you're still watching, this is called an outro. It means you can start watching another video because this one is ending, but hit that like button before you leave. Apparently it helps me out or some shit. Oh, and one more thing. Wow, I can't believe I forgot to say this. I've got something really important to say before I go.